All right, good evening and welcome to the July 16th, 2025 Hanson Economic Development Committee meeting. I am joined by Scott Rothwell and Chris Ernst, and shortly to be joined by Kevin Cohen, who is en route. We are going to do a board reorganization once Mr. Cohen joins us, and we'll also do the minutes once he joins us, but we can just have a few little discussions in the interim. So first up is Hanson Day. We've set the date for September 27th. And I don't know why I said rain date, because it's going to be rain or shine. But what I do need is to have somebody arrange with the school district that the middle school would be our backup plan for rain, which of course I will pray to every God imaginable that there will not be rain that day, and that we will be having it at Indian Head in the event that there is no rain. So is there any way for...
So middle school, if rain,
and
Indian Head, if no rain.
Yeah, exactly.
And what will the hours be, Laura?
We didn't put that down, but I try not to do more than 3 hours. Yeah. I think it really starts petering out after that. So I was thinking like an 11 to 2 type of thing. Okay. And then that way people can do the sports in the morning if they need to. And,
yeah, I know like the Hanson Youth Football, we have games that night. Yeah. That started for us, so.
That time frame always seems to kind of work. So I had asked Kevin if he could reach out to the food trucks. We definitely need food trucks.
Yeah, I'll plan on being there.
So we definitely need food trucks, and one of the things we had talked about was potentially having a town-wide yard sale as part of this, like off to the side at the McQuan, and people were very excited about this. I am going to reach out to Green Hanson to see if they might want to help us coordinate that piece of it, since there is like a green component to it, since people are selling things and not dumping them off. I've already gotten probably at least 20 people. Hey, Kev, we already started, but just join us. So joining us now is Kevin Cohen, and we're just talking about the Hanson Day. And so we were talking about, I know you were going to reach out to some food trucks.
Yes, yeah, which I have, and okay. I'm still waiting to hear back from some people, but quick update, we have the Rockland Lions wanted to join us again. Great. Which they have in the past. Yep. To do sausages, pepper and onion kind of thing. I think it was a big hit last year.
It is a big hit.
Yeah. And then I will circle around and check in on some of the ones I've reached out to as well. So
I'm wondering, can we reach out to VoTech?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Because that was a big hit, and and I'd like them getting that visibility for themselves, like yes. In the community. And Tom's usually
I attended Rockland Day a couple weeks back and made note of the food trucks that were there.
I love it.
And VoTech was there.
I do that all the time. I always shop the competition. See.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Okay, good. That's cool. And then we were just talking about. We're thinking about. Oh, go ahead.
Do you want me to reach out to Heidi's?
That would be great.
Okay.
That'd be great. Yeah. I didn't reach out to them. So.
And then we were talking about the fact that we are going to think about having a town-wide yard sale at McQuan, and seeing if the Green Hanson folks might sort of support organizing that, since it's got a huge green component to it.
Is there a date for that, or?
Yep, 27th, rain or shine of September.
Oh, okay, the same day as Hanson Day.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. Yeah, kind of like over in the McQuan field there. And I've got a couple of departments. I want to say Conservation told me they were going to be there. A couple other town departments said that they would be there. The town clerk, our new town clerk, which would be great for her meaty pull. And then several businesses, a lot of the usual suspects. And I'm going to do a big push with the Hanson Business Network. And I've already talked to the Hanson Business Network guys, but like we really want to showcase the businesses. So that's where we're at on that. Anything else on that?
11 to 2.
Yep, 11 to 2.
Yeah, okay. And then hopefully we don't have to take advantage of the rain date of October.
Well, just before you came in, I asked Tony if he could reserve the middle school for rain.
Okay,
So it's rain or shine, it's gonna be like, it's once and done that day. Like because remember that year we had to like keep, fits and starts, like, oh, no, this weekend. It's like, no, we all have a life. Like, we can't just perpetually reschedule, so.
So rain or shine will be at?
Rain or shine, rain, it will be at the middle school. Shine, it will be at Indian Head.
So secure both sites for that day.
Correct.
It's an event. Wow.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then one other note, do we need to offer tables, chairs, or anything like that?
Well, last year
We didn't do it last year.
No,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. It was
Last
the year before.
The 2 years
Yeah,
before,
2
we
years.
offered chairs and tables, which, as you know, was a logistical difficulty.
It was, yeah.
Because, it's like us at the end of the day picking up all the tables and organizing. And so last year, I just said, we have very limited number of chairs and tables available. And I think the school gave us like 10, but it was at the school, so we didn't have to get into the whole thing of unloading them, loading them, all that stuff that you and like Ken Sweezy and other people helped with. So that worked out. It was just like 10 tables, and like I said, I was like, if you have access to a table, please bring it, because it's just like we really just don't have that.
And a lot of the small businesses have those little pop-up tents.
Yeah.
They have their own signage. Which is great.
Yeah, exactly.
And I could probably talk to Country Rentals and see if they wanted to donate some tables.
That is amazing, but what about bounces?
So last year they did donate a bouncy.
They did, but if Scott's got a connection.
Yeah, if you have a connection, I think that they would be willing to.
Yeah, Steve's great.
As long as you talk nice to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, whatever he's willing to donate, we would be willing to take.
So the bounce house is always a big hit.
Yeah, for some reason it always boils down to whether you've got a moonwalk or not. I don't know why, but that's what kids care about.
Yeah.
Moonwalk and, it's candy or like sweets or something, and that they leave happy campers.
Oh yeah.
So
I know last year we also had Bob Bethany's karate do a demonstration.
Yeah, I'll reach back out. I did send an email to all the people that participated last year, but I'll reach back out again. Plymouth County K-9 already said they were in.
Okay.
So last year, that was kind of like a last minute type of thing. And I don't think they ended up coming, but we got that other guy from the MBTA who was excellent.
Yeah, he was excellent. Yeah, he was great.
I'll have to look through for his contact info and reach out to him. Good news is pretty much everybody that was there last year is coming back, which means they feel that it was good for them. And so, and we can talk about whether that footprint worked out or whether we want to move it, to the field or whatever. Always open to, how do we improve it? I'm never going to be like, that's it. We've got no more improvements to make. So anything else on that?
I think we can well.
Okay, cool. Then I'm going to turn it over to Mr. DeFrias to kick off for the reorganization.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, as required under General Bylaw Article 2-1, Section 1A, the board was required to reorganize after the town election, this being the first meeting since then. We're looking to create or establish someone for the position of chair, vice chair, and clerk. So I am accepting nominations for the position of chair for the next year for the Economic Development Committee.
I will nominate Laura Kemet as chair.
I have a nomination for Laura Kemet.
I will second that. I hope that she wants to continue as chair.
Yes, thank you.
So we have a motion by Mr. Ernest for Laura Kemet, and the second by Mr. Cohen. I'm going to ask for a roll call vote for that position. Mr. Rothwell?
Yeah, right.
Mrs. Kemet?
Aye.
Mr. Cohen?
Aye.
Ernest?
Aye.
So we have a 4-0-1 vote. Mr. Serra is absent for the position of chair for the next year. Congratulations, Mrs. Kemet, and I turn the meeting back over to you.
All right. I always want to have an occasion to use this. It seems a little imperious. But anyway, I will accept nominations, and I also, like, if there's somebody who would like to be vice chair that hasn't had an opportunity, to do it, let me know. Do you still want to do it? Do you care? Do you?
I'm fine either way. If
Okay.
I can continue, or if somebody wants to step up to it, I'm open to someone stepping up to it as well. So it's kind of up in the air. So
I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, let Kevin go in as.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay. All in favor? Oh, well, roll call, I guess, because we're recording. Roll call.
Mr. Rothwell?
Mr. Roth.
Yeah, aye.
Mrs.
Aye.
Cohen?
Aye.
Mr. Ernest?
Aye.
You have a vote of 401.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. And our condolences, Kevin.
Oh yeah.
And then I will entertain a nomination for clerk.
I'll volunteer for clerk.
That'd be great. So I'll make the nomination.
Then we need
Scott Rothwell is
then we need a second.
Sorry.
And
second.
I will second that motion.
Okay, any further nominations? No, okay, all right, and then roll call.
Mr. Rothwell?
Aye.
Kemet?
Aye.
Mr. Cohen?
Aye.
Mr. Ernest?
Aye.
Okay, great. All right, so I've already, on to approve meeting minutes from May 15th, 2025. Did everybody have a chance to read them? And if so, I will entertain a motion to approve that. Put that out there.
I had read through them. I was absent for the meeting, so I'm not able to make a motion.
You are able to make a motion if you were able to read the minutes and, you feel comfortable with them. Yeah, you are able
Then
to.
I'll make a motion to approve the May 15, 2025.
And I'll second that.
Okay, roll call.
That you don't have to roll call.
Just everybody aye?
Yeah.
Okay, aye.
Aye.
Okay. And then we are, okay, so originally we were supposed to meet with the Camp Kiwanee Committee and Dory Jameson, but that is newly enhanced. For ages, the Camp Kiwanee Commission has been 2 people. Because they had several people that left for personal reasons and other reasons we could discuss. And so, in thinking about it, I thought before we meet with them, we probably should have our heads together about what are we hoping to get from that Camp Kiwanee Commission. And I know we've talked about how can we support them to bring in more revenue to the camp. And then revenue will beget maybe more programming, I don't know, whatever, but it all starts with we need to get more money coming in.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be a good idea if we just very briefly talked about some of our expectations, and then perhaps, maybe 1 or 2 of us, we can't have a quorum, so it can't be more than 2 of us, could meet with 1 or 2 of the Camp Kiwanee Commission members and have a conversation about, hey, we're here to help you, like this is not a combative, we're not like throwing rocks or anything, like we want to support you, we want to help you make money. We have some ideas on how we think you could do that, and we would be willing to do that. Like for instance, we had talked at the last meeting about maybe we would try to do more advertising for day events, for like group, team building things that people could have up at Camp Kiwanee, or like company cookouts or company parties, during the day, or is there somebody who's teaching classes, that would want to use the facility, like a cooking class using the kitchen, or those are the types of things like we were kind of talking about. Did anybody have any other things that would like to see them try to do to bring in some revenue?
I've had a scouting background when I was much younger, and I always wondered if maybe some other towns would want to use Camp Kiwanee as well as other scouting events in Hanson.
Yeah.
But even reaching out to a little bit further, it's almost it's almost a hidden gem in a way
It is.
to other towns. I mean, we know about it here in our town,
Yeah.
but other towns, if you went to Rockland, they might have no idea what Camp Connie is.
I know the Whitman guys are onto it. And they've had a couple, the Whitman Boy Scouts, but you make a good point.
Yeah.
It really almost calls to you like a scouting, my son was a scout, and they used to have different events up there, and I think Troop 34 and whatever the other one is, I know there's two of them now in Hanson, maybe 68. I think they both have some stuff there, but, but I'm not sure that we've gone
Expanded
out,
a little bit,
and I think we try to probably not charge for the most part, the scouts, for our scouts, because they're Hanson, scouts, and it's a nonprofit and all that, but you're right, there's no reason, they had even talked about at one point having like a summer camp for scouts, and then it just sort of fell off the wayside, and there used to be a music camp. My son, when he was in like probably elementary school, there was a music camp there, and a couple of the music teachers from the school had like a 1 week like music comprehensive thing where you'd swim, and, they'd provide lunch, and then you'd have different music lessons, guitar, so I think there's a lot of different, avenues there.
I believe they had a cheerleading event this past.
Yes, they did.
I've had two people in town say unrelated to me, it would be neat if the camp did like camp night for Hanson residents. So in other words, a woman said that she had a young son who's like 9 years old, and sometimes they'll camp out in the backyard.
Yeah.
She'd be like, it'd be great if I could go down to Kewanee and rent a cabin. Like, well, you actually can.
Yeah.
You can go online and do that.
Yeah.
But she was saying it would be neat if they like hosted a camp night for families, where they did s'mores and a
They
fire
used to
and stay
do that.
overnight.
You probably remember this. The prior, it was the Recreation Commission at the time, but like Audrey Flanagan and those guys, they had a thing where I think it was like a weekend. It was like a family weekend, and you would show up on Friday night and have like a welcoming thing. I didn't go to this, but I just read all about it. And then you'd get breakfast, and you'd get lunch, and they'd do s'mores, and there'd be little activities, and I think it was well attended. I'm not sure it made money, just because maybe it was a little embellished, but I think that like a one night.
You get people just to pay the regular rental rate.
Yeah.
They have it just organized, so you're not down there by yourself. It's a bunch of families could go together.
Well, it'll be a great. I love the idea of that, because if it's a bunch of people who are like, okay, I'm going to go with my kids. Like, let's say you guys went with like the girls or something, right? Or you went with your guys. Like it's a great way to meet people too. Like because camping is very, very social. I mean, it's pretty hard to stay to yourself when you're around a campfire and everybody's like, looking like who did what to who because you're out camping out.
I mean, before
I remember
COVID.
that. I actually did a barbecue for that.
You did?
It was a donation. I want to say it was like 100 families.
Yeah, that's
great.
100 people came through at lunchtime. Whether they spent the night, I don't know.
Yeah.
That was a good event.
It was.
Before COVID, there used to be movie nights at the park. Towns were doing.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like even if you did a almost sleepover, like even if you did a come in your pajamas, there's going to be s'mores, it's going to be almost, but then you're going to head home at 10 o'clock. Like you're not going to stay, or do that.
Make it optional.
Yeah. I mean, where I live, behind us is baseball fields, and there was a summer. All of a sudden, I hear, I'm like, what is that? And then I start listening, and I'm like, you're killing me, Smalls. I'm like, that's the Sandlot. And and that's what they were doing in the fields. They got families, and they had a movie night in the fields. And
that's awesome.
So they were showing the Sandlot, because obviously it's baseball related. And I was like, man, I wish I had known, because I can actually cut through the woods and I would go watch,
Yeah.
I mean, on a smaller scale, I mean, maybe that's something that the camp could do, if it's just like the residents of the town, or,
And then they had, and one year, you guys probably remember this, I think it was at the beginning of COVID, they had that cabin decorating contest.
Yeah.
It was a
Yep.
big hit, and I convinced Mr. Kemet to do a Ghostbusters theme cabin.
Yeah.
And I may or may still not have the Slimer costume and the Stay Puft Marshmallow costume and various other things that he's like, now why do we have all these? I'm like, we'll use them at some point in the future.
But that might be a good thing too, like for Halloween.
Yes.
They used to
Yeah.
run a haunted Halloween years back
Yeah.
too. In different cabins with set up with different things.
So I think those could make money, but also be recreational, like, venues. And I think it's so important for us to get back on track at the camp, to be like that community, the center of the community, to have those activities where people are meeting other people, their neighbors, they're putting down their weapons. Doesn't matter what your politics are, you're just there to have a good time. I think that's so important. It's really what makes a town strong. So how do you guys want, like, I don't want the new guys on the commission, or even the whole commission, to feel like, oh, these bossy little economic development committee people are coming to tell us how it's going to be. But I do want to open up a dialogue. Like, look, if you need resources, like, if we don't have them, we can look for them. We can see if there's grants. Like, we can, I do think that they probably need more resources than what they have now for employees.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got Dory and Renee, who are awesome, and there's nothing against them, but they're not directors. They're there to book people and show them and they do more than that, because they're excellent employees. But we probably need to think about is that, and could the camp pay for somebody who's going to actively market? Would it offset the cost of potentially hiring somebody?
So I had a meeting with Dory after the last meeting, and I talked to her about, I have Yelp for my business.
Yes.
And it's been very effective. And I think that's something that Kewanee needs. I mean, all these events are great town builders, but really what brings the money in there is the weddings. And the big events. So June was incredibly busy for him, but I'd like to volunteer and continue to try to help them out.
Was she open to that? Or?
I think she was open, but I don't think she really understood when I was trying to explain.
Okay.
The thing with them, it's a cost, but they can show you this is what you spent and this is what you bring in. So and for me personally, it's been it's money well spent for advertisement. I think that it was $7,000 was the rate for one event in Kewanee. So if you get one event a month, you're definitely up on it. So I'll continue to put more legwork into that, and I like to help them out. And I was speaking with someone. I think they have committee spots open for Kewanee as well.
I think we just filled the last one.
All right, well, that's great.
I think we just filled the last one, and we've got some great people that applied. I don't know them personally, but their resumes look amazing. One woman did a lot of public relations. That's like her whole background.
Yeah.
So we were like,
Great.
you are on. And then there was another gentleman who apparently was part of the organization years ago, so he brings some history, which we don't have anybody on there now who kind of knows why things are. And he had some ideas about how they used to do things. And then there was another woman who does events. So she was like, I've got that background. So I think it's going to be a great cross-pollination of talent. So, but I mean, you can attend the meeting, and you could even, if you want to be if we want to have a liaison, you could be our liaison to the, if that's something you feel passionately about.
Right. Well, just like you said, it's a common goal. Everybody wants to help. It's not one team against the other. But yeah, I definitely would like to volunteer and do.
Okay. all right, that's great. Did anybody have
I
any?
mean, if you're gonna have a small meeting, I'd be happy to participate as well.
Okay, all right,
Excellent.
okay, cool.
So how do we advance that?
So I think I want to say, is Dory still out or is she back? I'm not sure.
She's back.
Okay, all right, because she was out for like a couple weeks, so. Let me reach out to
Okay.
Dory and, you know, just kind of, I just want to make sure that
Yeah.
nobody's getting their feathers ruffled and everybody's clear on what our objective is. Like, we're all just trying to do the best for the town here. There's no judgments. And then once we have like a clear sight of, you know, line of sight, then I think you got, like, I don't need to be part of it. I think you two could be, you know, kind of go and meet with them and, you know, just do a brainstorming session, like what can we do to help you, you know, and you know, if it's a case where like we just need a jump start, like to hire, say, a consultant to help us figure out how to package this and sell it and get some advertisement out there, then let's see what we can, you know, let's see what the South Shore Chamber of Commerce has got to offer us, what Metro Chamber of, you know, like what resources have people got?
Has a community access television done any, like, you know, I'm thinking, I'm gonna call it a commercial for lack of a better word, but.
Not really,
you know,
no.
That's something, if we could help us with, we obviously could get it on there, but we could also get it on social media. They
Yep.
could use it on their website.
Yep,
Nothing, you know, I'm thinking like a 1 minute snippet, like.
little PSA.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, that's something that they should think.
I think that's a great idea, and it's free.
Exactly. We'll take
And,
advantage
you
of
know, and they'll do the, you know, they'll do the editing, so,
Exactly.
you
Yep.
know, I think what would be really powerful is, one of the gentlemen at, the firehouse has got access to a drone, and he's a
Yep.
really excellent photographer. And so I think he could take like drone footage, and then because really like. in
No, I
order-
have one as well. I'd be happy to do it.
You just happen to
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
drone? You
I'd
just
be
have.
happy to do it.
Okay,
Take
yeah,
pictures,
I didn't know, okay,
Yeah.
that would be great. I mean, I think that if people see the expanse of what that is,
Yeah,
you know, I think they'd really have their mind blown, and I think a lot more people would be like, family reunion, where else could I possibly do all of this, you know? Yeah.
Right.
yeah. Okay, so we'll wait to hear from you then on.
Yeah, I'll just
To discuss.
feel it out with
Okay,
Dory and.
sounds good.
All right. All right, and then that brings us to discuss promotion of new trail maps. Mr. DeFry.
So in front of you is all the trail maps. They've all been printed out. We have 11 of them with different trails in Hanson. So feel free to take a look at
So
them.
exciting.
So now the next thing is we're looking to promote the trail system and these maps. So one thing we're going to have is a link to these maps, and that'll be a temporary. Once the town decides what web platform we're going to wind up using, then we're going to create a dedicated page to trails.
Okay.
So all the maps will be there. We can edit the page, provide additional information, et cetera, change things. I'd also asked Jay to do a little research on where could we promote these, and she had prepared, I believe she put in your packet, some of the places that we're looking to sort of move these to. And it just so happens, was it in Mass?
Visit New England.
Visit New
is the big
England. I think
one.
there's also has what?
Weddings.
Weddings.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
So we
which
could do
means Camp
Camp
Kawani is, could also use that.
yeah.
So what we're trying to do is, in essence, and I'm going to speak with Chamber of Commerce, and so basically what I'm going to try and do is, just like you're trying to do with Camp Kawani, try and promote these maps to a wider audience. And I think the camp may be able to do this as well on some of these. Now, we'll have to look at, there are some costs, we'll have to look at these costs and see, how to pay for them and where we get the money. But if it's something that the town is willing to move with, then, we'd like to push it forward and get it out there. I'd like, that's basically, what I'm trying to do is get it out there so that people will know, come to Hanson for the trails, come to Hanson for
I
Camp
just want to
Kawani.
thank you for all of the work that you did to get this money. And I love that we used Webster.
Yeah, and I've said it before, it's a big shout out to Dave Mansfield. Him and I were on were on parallel paths for the same project,
Yeah.
and then we were able to get together, and the Charlotte Shore Chamber of Commerce was able to get us, Peter Foreman, was able to get us the redo grant for $3,000,
Yeah.
which covered the majority of the cost of preparing and printing these
Amazing.
color brochures. So these brochures are here at Town Hall on the second floor. They're at the Camp Kawani, they're at the Senior Center, they're at the library.
I love it.
And we're just hoping to keep promoting it. And hopefully it'll spur some economic development for some of the local businesses, the small
I
businesses.
think it will, if we can tell people like, this is the place to be. If you want to hike a few trails and, go to the Barge, but Barge is amazing, but hey, by the way, we've got Smitty's Bog, we've got, all these other places. I think people's minds are blown when they find out, what wonderful conservation properties we've got. And, for the first time in a very long time, the property's being kept up.
Mhm.
So the trails are very accessible. You don't need a decoder ring anymore to figure out where they are.
Yeah.
So
They all have kiosks.
yeah, I love it.
So there was information that's in the package. It was a big help in getting that. So that's basically the whole idea, is to just now get it out there. And one of the things is the New England one has a wedding one. So it's like, well, Camp Kawani is a wedding venue. So let's look at maybe getting that out there, because, we need a broader spectrum to gain that business.
We can actually, I think we could put this on the Hanson Business Network page to say, hey, come visit these properties, and while you're here, grab a bite at Moe's or,
Sure.
whatever, Ellie's or, any of the restaurants here. So this is great, because ecotourism has been one of the things we've really wanted to work on. Now we actually have something tangible we can tell people about.
And though it's not on the agenda, I did get some additional information. We were talking about the boardwalk. We may have, as you say, it's a glacial kind of movement, but there may be some options to getting something. We have a direction that we may be able to pursue and get some, looking at a boardwalk that would follow or be within the path of the MBTA right away. Shared right away.
So not that crazy little,
Right, instead of going all over the place, think of coming out of the train station and getting onto a path that is directly parallel with the train tracks that would take you down to Crooked Place, and then you could get to the Burbage.
that would be awesome.
And,
Yeah.
so, I got some information today, needs to do a little work.
Okay, that would be awesome. This is great, and I personally have been to the Smith Snow several times and always feel like I'm missing something because I can't figure out how to get around there. The rest of them I get down pat, but that one just mystifies me for some reason. So now I will know that. All right, did anybody have any questions or comments about the trail maps? Yeah.
Yeah, they're great
They're
work.
awesome.
I can remember going to Rocky Run when I was a kid, probably 30, 40 years ago. And that's a beautiful
It
trail.
really
out there.
is. Yeah, it really is. You get lost out there, and that's
Yeah.
some.
Well, it ends up at one spot, connects over to the Ludham Falls.
Yes. Yeah.
Through the woods
Yeah.
that way.
And we're hoping that maybe, as time goes on, we might be able to connect these, to become a regional, connect to other towns, so that you can have, similar to the base
The
service.
North River.
Yeah, and just try
Connect, yeah.
try and connect.
It's nice to see that the North and South River watershed, was
Yeah.
supportive of that too.
Yeah, they provided a lot of descriptions.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
It was a collaborative effort, and, like I said, I give a big shout out. I assisted, but Dave Mansfield did have a big part in it.
Well, he's a force to be reckoned. He's doing amazing work. Okay, that's awesome. And then the West Washington Street project results and
So that project is completed. The grant, the consultant has completed the contractual obligations with the grant. So what we have is a final report. It's 90 pages. But
So you may want to, just so we got everybody up to speed.
Okay.
What we were doing there and,
So 0 West Washington Street is a town-owned piece of property that's adjacent to the water department and the industrial part, in the commercial industrial zone. I was able to get a grant through the One Stop grant program And what it allowed us to do was to basically site development. The state had what they call in-house doctors, which are basically, we'll say, certified engineers through the state. They hired this company, BHB. BHB put together a proposal, and what they've done for the town is they've gone out there and they've established the resource area, the wetlands. They've done soil testing. They've done a survey, property survey of the site. So we have soil reports, we have wetland reports. We filed with the Conservation Commission for what's known as an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation. The Conservation Commission approved the wetland line as it was delineated, so it's good for 3 years. Received what's called an ORAD, and that it's going to get recorded. So we have a completed report for this site that we now can pass along to the select board for disposition. It's everything it's all the information that anyone who might be interested in purchasing this property would ask. What's the soil? What are the soils like? Here's the report. Where's the wetlands? Here they are.
And that's the goal of the project, is to present the property for sale.
Or
Yes.
lease, don't know.
Yeah,
Right.
or lease,
No,
yeah.
no decisions been made, but
Right.
one of the things we were being told consistently by developers is like, you guys are kind of chumps. When you sell a piece of property, if you did just a little bit more work, you could sell it for more. But because all of those things Tony just mentioned were unknowns, and
Yeah.
people were having to do all that work themselves, we weren't getting high bids on it.
Right.
And people were like, well, how do I really know I can build on it? How do I know if conservation's gonna be
Sure.
okay with this? So, that piece of property is, because it's right near the industrial park, kind of fits into our economic development. But the select board hasn't discussed whether we're gonna sell it or.
Right. But so
And I didn't realize that's West Washington Street at that point. That's Route 27, right? Huh.
So on August 5th, this will be going before the select board for presentation, and then it's basically, we've completed the grant, and now we'll put it in the hands of the select board to make a determination of what they want to do, but all the information that is needed is there now.
It's all packaged.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Tony, in the executive summary, 30-second highlight, like I mean, they're proposing
Yep,
something
so,
here, so I assume it checked out that it would be a.
so based on all the site conditions, there is a potential there for a 25,000 square foot building
Wow.
with parking and drainage.
Okay.
If at some point the town, let's say for instance, the water department decided that they wanted to move somewhere else, and that's town-owned property, there's a potential for that site for an additional 30,000 square foot building with parking and drainage and septic. So these are just concepts,
But all commercial, not residential?
not residential, strictly commercial, industrial. And so let's say that 25,000 square foot building, either you might have, let's say, a single business that would go in there, or you may have someone that would divide the building or condo the building out like they have in the existing industrial park
Right.
into smaller
Industrial
units.
condos, just to
Right.
be clear.
Yeah. So the town has options as to what they want to do, but
That's great.
it's all completed, it's packaged, now it's up to the town to decide how do we want to move this forward, because I think, it'd be a great revenue source, whether it's
Yes.
business, a new business and taxes.
Yep.
If the town was to lease the land, or if they sold it, it's still some kind of, it's revenue. It
Revenue.
creates jobs.
And that's how we got talking about it, was like, what other ways can we get revenue?
Right.
Because that's our common theme here.
Yeah,
So,
that's
good.
great.
That opens up a lot of potential avenues. I'd be interested to see if the board does decide that they want to sell it or lease it, like what businesses would be interested in, I think it'll be interesting,
Yeah,
Well, it's beneficial that it's a large space and it's right on Route 27, so that's,
super convenient.
yeah. I mean, we have the
Yeah.
industrial park there, you have East Bridgewater side as
Yeah.
well, so.
And it's one of those things, we've owned it for years.
right.
And until Tony did a whole inventory, we were like, wait, what? We own that piece of property? Why haven't we done anything with it?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, it'll be good to go.
All right, awesome. That's amazing. And then, I don't think we've got any follow-up on the rehabilitation of the nurses' quarters at Plymouth County Hospital.
Yeah, other than, as part of the One Stop FY26 grants, I applied for that site again. I applied for a grant for that site of $470,000, which has been, what happens there.
And I think they're continuing to work with the community preservation people, and, maybe they're gonna see if there's some historic, money, which is tricky to get. Those grants are very difficult. But again, that would be great if we could get that piece of property used and getting revenue. It's just sitting there now, and it's actually in okay shape. It's not as pitiful as you might think it would be after sitting relatively vacant for all years. So.
But the goal is to restore it, not to demolish and
No, not at
start
all.
over.
Yeah, no, because you've got the food pantry in the back part.
Right.
Hey, Lon, you've got the food pantry in the back part, the beekeeper's upstairs. So the front part, we have somebody who's come to us, and she said, I'm a therapist, I would really love to have my therapy practice, and I have a bunch of other people who would like to have those types of, which would be revenue for the town. We could charge, but the thing is, it's got to be brought up to code.
Right.
It's looking a little funky right now, so. But because it's a historic building, the front part could be eligible for community preservation money to help them bring it up to the house.
Right.
And that's Paul Serra and his wife, from the Hanson Business Network. So, all right, so nothing new on that. That brings us to town planner updates.
Okay, so I can make this quick. I submitted 6 grants for a total of $877,500. One is for 0 West Washington Street, which is the site that we just looked at, and that would be a grant for actually assisting the town in disposition of property. A second grant for 100 Hawks Ave for building improvements for the front building, or building closest to Hawks Ave, 228 High Street, as I mentioned. Another one for a municipal sewer study, and another grant for pedestrian improvements along Main Street from High Street to Montponset Street. And then the last one would be for a piece of property that's just off of Hawks Ave. It's a strip of land that 40 feet wide by about 390 feet long, and it would be great for the town to acquire that strip, because then it would give our property that was donated frontage, because we can extend Hawks Ave, and we'd give us frontage on a road, and give us a lot easier access to our site.
Especially if we want to rent it, lease it, whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So those 6 grants went in for MBTA. Well, I think there's really nothing much more to say there. Open space and recreation plan update. I found out, I learned today that was approved by the state. So we have a brand new open space and recreation plan that's been approved. So that one's good to go and complete. I've sent copies off to the Community Preservation Committee, who provided funding, Conservation Commission. So what now that has done is the open space and recreation plan being in place also allows us access to some grants. One of them being the PARC or Park grant, which would be used for the High Street Park.
And we're not we're not yoked into the MBTA on that one.
They didn't say anything about that at this point. So they just gave us a list of, hey, because now you have this, here's a series of grants that you can apply for because of this.
Okay. Yep.
I'm not sure if they're aware of our status, but they did provide that. So that's been completed.
That's amazing.
And that's all I have.
Jason, do you have any questions?
Oh yeah, I just had a quick question, and I don't want to go outside the scope of the meeting, but it could be something for a future meeting. Do we have an update on the community host agreement with Impressed LLC and what type of income we're getting from them? It was a subject of a lot of discussion in the past with economic development meeting. We toured the facility. We were all very impressed with the facility, and I don't think we've got an update on that.
So the state unfortunately changed the rules of engagement in terms of what we can't get. Lisa, this is Economic Development Committee. Oh, all right, that's fine. You're more than welcome. So the revenue that we do get is more by way of the real estate taxes, and then the real property that they have, so the machinery that they have there. But, I mean, you can circle back and ask, Denise Alexander and then Lisa Clark, what revenue we're getting from there. But the state changed the rules so that you were able to get we thought, originally when this was out there, we thought we would be able to get 3% from them.
Yeah.
And now the state says, prove that you're spending that money, and then you can get the money from the facility. Well, we're not spending that much money, so we can't prove that we're spending that much money because we're not. So it really is just, the real estate taxes and the real property. Having said that, it's a much larger amount. The last time I looked at it, it was probably like a year ago I asked about this. It was way more than I thought it would be. I was actually pretty pleased. I was like, all right, well, we actually are getting money from them. But to me, and I won't get too off topic, but I will say I found it to be an irritant. I sort of feel like I'm like that rhinoceros and the fable with the crumbs that get underneath skin. This is one of those things that gets under my skin. It's like, okay, so you told all the towns that this is what was going to happen and that they would have this as a source of revenue. So people voted thinking that that was going to be a source of revenue, and then you changed the rules afterwards. Okay, all right, sure.
Yeah.
So, but I probably said more than I should on that. So, if Tony, if you got, you or Lisa can reach out, and that information's readily available. So we are making money, but not that 3%. Yeah. And we have not found them to be a heavy lift. I think originally when they came, we weren't sure what's fire going to have to do, what's police going to do. Is it going to be, are people going to be like, rappelling into the building through the, through the roof, like Mission Impossible style to get to the, mother plants and all, but turns out no, not the case, and it's just another business.
I believe it was described as having another bank in town. In the beginning.
So, they've been fine. We really haven't had any compliance issues with them, response issues, paying the taxes, like they're fine. But again, I don't know, who knows what the outcome would have been if we knew that those rules of engagement. All right, August meeting, what date are we thinking about?
If you do a Wednesday, you have the 6th, the 13th, the 20th, or the 27th.
I would, as much as I love all of you, I would respectfully request that we not do the 6th, that is my birthday. And so maybe the 13th? Is that,
I'm okay with
are
it.
people available?
To the 13th?
Yeah.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, all right, then we'll plan on August
You
13th.
need a motion now.
I mean, Tony always does a motion, but no other meeting I ever do does a motion for setting the date, but it's fine, I don't mind. Did you want to make
Okay,
that
I'll make a motion for August 13th, 2025 to be the next economic development.
All right, do I have a second? All right, amazing, all in favor?
All right.
All right, amazing. All right, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second that.
Okay, great. All in favor?
Aye.